Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. Today we are going to discuss about the Indian economy for UPSC. So here we will be basically focusing upon the perspective that you have to adopt by learning Indian economy, particularly for UPSC. So let's get started for our discussion. In the very beginning, it's very important to understand the structure of UPSC Civil Services examination. To begin with, we could find that UPSC Civil Services examination would be consisting of three different stages. So we are talking about one single exam which would be having three different levels. Okay, so we are going to discuss in detail the levels that we are supposed to have in UPSC Civil Services examination. The first level is all about the preliminary examination. So you might be well aware about the UPSC prelims. So why is the authority conducting UPSC prelims? So this is a kind of exam that is being conducted so as to eliminate the non-serious candidates. So this is a kind of exam that UPSC would be conducting where your initial assessment of basic knowledge as well as aptitude is being taken into consideration. So what UPSC would be doing here is that it's a kind of initial assessment process where your basic awareness, basic understanding, basic knowledge as well as your aptitude will be assessed. Okay, so what happens is that as far as these prelims exams are concerned, 13 lakhs people would be applying for this exam. So out of 13 lakhs, only less than 15,000 people would get selected for the next level, which is a mains exam. So this is a second level or the second stage in UPSC Civil Services exam. So what happens is that in this mains exam, you will be having several papers like language papers, optional papers, as well as GS papers. Again, essay would also be there. So what happens here is that the UPSC would be going for a comprehensive evaluation of your in-depth understanding of different areas. Okay. Again, what happens is that I told you after prelims, only less than 15,000 would get selected to the mains. Now here also UPSC would be going for a strict selection process. What happens is that from this less than 15,000 people or candidates, UPSC would be selecting only less than 3,000 people to the next level, that is the interview. Okay, so coming to the interview, what happens is that this is a final assessment stage and UPSC would be assessing your personality. It would be looking on to your communication skills, and based on the marks that you have obtained for these levels, you will be given some kind of rank in the list. Okay, which would be the final list. So you could find that out of this less than 3,000 people, only less than 1,000 or just more than 1,000, we can say around 1,000 would be there in the final list of UPSC. So what happens here is that out of the total people who apply for UPSC Civil Services examination, from the very beginning when you move from prelims to the interview, only less than 0.1% would come in the final list. So this lengthy selection process is something that is so complex. Okay, so hope you could come to know about some idea regarding the UPSC Civil Services exam structure. Now, we are focusing on to this basic question, why economics is a part of UPSC Civil Services examination syllabus. So as you know, when you enter the post as a civil servant, you will be required to deal with many aspects of the economy, right? So you will be a part of the development programs. Here definitely you will play a very important role in the implementation of policies, isn't it? So here you know it very well that it's not that so easy when it comes to implementation of policies. Whenever the government implement a policy, the intention of the government is to increase the welfare of the public. But in certain cases, what would happen is that there would be some complexities. There would be some challenges or complications which you as a bureaucrat or you as an administrator would be handling. So first of all, you should know the kind of policies that India has already adopted, the kind of problems or challenges that we have already faced. So By this time, you might have received some idea regarding why economics is a part of UPSC syllabus. Now, specifically, one more thing to mention over here is that the way in which you approach economics from the perspective of UPSC is completely or entirely different from approaching economics from the perspective of a research aspirant. So, for the same reason, what happens is that when it comes to UPSC, specifically Indian economy in UPSC, you have to do certain things, and also you have to eliminate, or you should not do certain things. So here perspective is very important. What is your perspective? Is it research or is it UPSC? So you have to finalize this in the very beginning. I'll give you two examples. Through this you will get more idea regarding how to frame your perceptions as well as perspective. So let's deal with the same. So here you can find a photograph. In the image you could find a lady. So this lady is very popular. She is an Indian. So this is Geeta Gopinath. Geeta Gopinath. So she is a very famous economist. She has completed her basic education, graduation and all in India only. She was a student in DSC, Delhi School of Economics. Later, she went to University of Washington. Now, she joined IMF as the chief economist. So, she is the first woman to occupy this post in IMF. So, she has taken economics from the perspective of research. So, she had a research perspective. Okay. So, she has done a lot of researches and published a lot of articles in various reputed journals. She has focused on the topics like international finance, macroeconomics, and so on. So what she has done is that she has taken economics from the perspective of research, or she has taken the approach of research as far as her connection with economics is concerned. Now I'll show you yet another example to you so that you will come to know more about this one, economics. How to learn economics from the perspective of a UPSC civil servant or UPSC aspirant. Okay. So see, so this is yet another person that we are having over here. This person is so famous. This is N.K. Singh. N.K. Singh. Okay. So what this person has done is that this person had an approach of civil services by looking onto economics, or he has looked economics from the perspective of civil services. So this person has also taken his basic education in India only, from India only. He has done his basic graduation in India only. So this person is also taken economics. This person has also taken his graduation from DSC or Delhi School of Economics. Then he entered to the service as 1964 batch officer, that is 1964 batch officer. So after his entry to the post, he was serving as a secretary to the Prime Minister. So specifically, he was acting as a secretary to the Prime Minister during the Vajpayee administration. So he was the secretary to Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So later, he was occupying the post of Revenue Secretary, Expenditure Secretary, and so on. Okay. Now, also we could find that this person was posted in the Embassy of India in Tokyo. Okay. And from 2008 to 2014, this person was a member of public accounts in India. And also, prestigiously, we could find that this person was a chairman of 15 Finance Commission. Also, he was a co-convener of the G20 Independent Expert Group, the recent one. Okay, so see how he approached economics. His perspective or his approach was something entirely different from what we could find in the case of Geeta Gopinath. Geeta Gopinath had a research approach towards economics, and this person, N.K. Singh, was having some different approach. So this is what I told you in the very beginning itself. You need to fix your goal. This is what you are supposed to do. You should understand how should UPSC aspirants learn economics. So first of all, you have to set your goal. So you need to identify your goal. You need to recognize your goal. So if you are onto the UPSC track, definitely you have to fix it and say that your end goal is UPSC. And now you needn't look onto the theoretical considerations of economics. Instead, you can just look onto something called Indian economy. You can specifically focus onto that paper. Okay. Now, again, you have to understand one thing here. You have to find that we could have a lot many GS papers. As far as UPSC mains are concerned, you have GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, right? So here what happens is that it's very important to establish the connection that exists among various people. For example, you might be having a tendency to find that GS paper 2 is entirely different from GS paper 3. Never think in this way, because there are some topics that would be connected to each other. So some topics in GS paper 2 will have some connection with some topics in GS paper 3. So mutual understanding or mutual connection will be there. Okay, so it's very, very important in that respect to understand the interlinkages, the interconnection that exists among papers. So for the same reason, what we could find is that UPSC journey is something that is so amazing because you will be able to learn a lot of things. If you enjoy your studies, definitely this will be something great to be done. Okay. Now, so we were discussing a lot of things regarding the UPSC, specifically something called how to learn economics from the perspective of UPSC and all. Now let's see what all to be covered under this. Definitely, to start with, we have to look at NCERT, which will be giving you the basics. Okay, so what you have to do is that to know the fundamentals, you need to look at class 6 to class 12 NCERT. So, which will give you the basic ideas, concepts, etc. etc. Now, the next thing that you have to look onto is real life examples. Always try to connect concepts with reality. Concepts with applications. This play a very important role. Okay, so this will make your learning so easier. This will make your learning so funny as well. So you will very easily learn the concepts and you can apply it also wherever you want me to do that. Okay, so just try to go with this particular approach. That will be something entirely different from something that you call as raw learning. So never think that raw learning is something that would be beneficial for UPSC. No, you have to understand things and then learn. This is what that is demanded. Coming to the next area, you are supposed to have some idea regarding the core topics as well as current affairs. So here CS stands for current affairs. So current affairs, very, very important. So you cannot skip it. At the same time, coming to the core ideas, important topics, important ideas, definitely you cannot skip. Okay. Now, you will be having something called ES as well as budget, economic survey and budget. So what is the difference? As far as economic survey is concerned, it will look on to the performance of India as an economy in the past year. So in the past year, what was happening in the Indian economy? In the past financial year, what was the scenario of Indian economy? What was the sectoral performance? All these things would be specifically explained in detail if you look at the economic survey. Now coming to budget, it's all about planning, right? Planning for the next year, income, expenditure, kind of things. So again, that is very, very important. Government will be discussing the future policy. What would be the kind of policies or area of focus in the coming year. So these things will be discussed in the budget. So both the economic survey as well as budget, both are important for you. Okay. Now, something very, very specific, some new topics, some emerging trends, some new subjects. These are also very important. So to give you some example, something called AI. See, this is evolving, right? This is evolving. Every day we could find some or the other kind of change in AI. So this is again, these kind of topics are also very, very important. Okay. So now let me take you to something called the UPSC prelims topic wise questions over the years. We could find that in 2013, 19 questions were coming from economics, specifically Indian economy. Now in 2014, 10, later it got increased to 13, again increased to 18, slightly reduced to 16, then increased to 18, then 14, after that 15, then 16, then 14 in 2022, 14 again in 2023, and in 2024 also we could have 14 questions from this particular area, Indian economy. See the importance of this paper in UPSC Civil Services examination, something that is very, very important. Okay. Now let's look at how to prepare for this particular exam from the perspective of Indian economy. So whenever it comes to your mains exam, definitely it's something which is a big tussle in front of you. Why this is so? Because is that you will be required to reduce your answer in a very crispy form. It should be so precise. Okay, so your answer should be very much precise, so that you have to reduce almost like 35 points to 5 points. So this 5 points should cater the entire idea of these 35 points. So you should understand how to come from general to particular. So this is very important. And also, you know it very well that newspapers are very, very important as far as UPSC preparation is concerned. But do you think that UPSC is actually something that tells you to write your answers in the exact way that is given in newspapers? Do you think that newspapers are written for UPSC? Absolutely no. Definitely no. The way in which newspapers are having their information, it's something different. The way in which they present information is something different from what you are expected to present in your answer paper. So you can definitely take ideas. You can definitely take information from newspaper. Definitely that is required. But later what you have to do is that you have to present it in some other form that is expected from your side as a UPSC civil service aspirant, isn't it? So again, what you have to do is that you have to look on to PYQs. This is very, very important. So you cannot skip this part. So practicing PYQs play a very important role. So you will be able to know which all are the important areas, which all are the areas where less importance need to be given, etc., etc. So you should have some idea regarding the same. Definitely. So looking at previous 10 years of question papers, so 10 years of question papers will give you some idea regarding the most important topics and least important topics. So you can plan your studies accordingly. Okay, so this is also very important. Also, when you do practice tests, when you try to answer different question papers, so you can also make yourself to follow something called a time management. So time management will be happening without your knowledge. You might not be realizing, but it will happen automatically. So this is very important. Okay, again, so what I would like to tell you here is that we are starting our journey here. Actually, I'm going in a flight. So I'm the pilot in the flight. So I'm welcoming you as the passengers here. So you can be a part of a flight. So whenever we go in the flight, we'll be having some problems. We'll be having some issues with respect to UPSC. So what we do is that we will definitely solve all these problems and issues. So I'll tell you some tricks that you can follow to recollect things. I'll be helping you to find the right option from the set of options that you are having. So we'll go for matching the question with the right option. So we'll do a lot many MCQs, basically PYQs and all. I'll give you some questions and all in the session so that you can practice answer writing. I'll tell you the tips that you are supposed to follow in the answer writing. So welcome to my flight. So let's have a journey together. And so since I am your pilot, what happens is that I'll definitely make you to reach your destination. Okay, so our journey begins here. Okay, so that is it all for today. Then let me tell you one more thing. We have something called the Learn Oikonomia app. You can download it. I'll be giving you the link in the description box, from where you can actually get the previous year question papers and answers, free study materials, live and recorded classes, and also free MCQ based weekly tests. Okay. Also, you can join our free Telegram community, for which also I'll be giving the link in the description box. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and you can like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos.